ScandiPWA at this point gave us the ability to combine the REST API of Drupal and the GraphQL layer of Magento to create a synchronous way of conveying and managing both sales and user interactions on our platform. My name is Antonio London. I am a full stack developer and the brain creator of Bumppa Marketplace. So today we're gonna just go over what Bumppa is and how we came about to get the brand and what's important about why the role ScandiPWA plays in our build. So first, I'm going to start by giving you an all introduction of what we're building and why we're building it. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, we all know that everything changed. The whole world took a turn. And that left a lot of businesses in Africa, and especially in the African continent, where so many businesses depended on being able to go and have in-person buying done. Since this has changed, and also with the influx of social awareness, where a lot of people are becoming motivated and understanding the power of their economic dollar, they're understanding how the conglomerates are controlling the economy with their money, people are becoming more wise. But there was a problem. The problem was a lot of businesses who have been forced to close their doors or go or scale down and now have to go online don't have the know-how and the expertise in many cases to do this. So what we at Bumppa decided to do was to create a product that kind of bridged this gap of providing a friendly online market utopia for vendors of any size and demographic. Now, what this means, a utopia, it's this. There are many online platforms that serve to create and sell products. But the average user, the average small-time vendor, imagine your aunt or your cousin or some family member who have now been forced to take their business at home, necessarily don't have the expertise and, more importantly, the resources to properly run and earn from that business. So what Bumppa aims to do is to provide a utopia for vendors to be able to buy, sell at any scale, both locally and internationally. Now, along with this dream came some challenges. My brother and I, who were both software engineers, looked at the problem linearly. There was a few things that we had to solve. First of all, we were a small team. It was just initially the two of us. And in order to put together a feat like this, it would require a lot of resources to build from the ground up. So the smart thing to do was to go the CMS route. Now, there's also a host of open source resources out there that serve the purpose of a marketplace. But unfortunately, none of them really encompasses or does everything that we wanted to do for for the vendors and buyers. So we had to go down the road of deciding what CMSs to use, what modules do we need from these CMSs, how many people will we need to expand or to extend these modules, how much time would it, how much planning. All of these were real questions to a small startup group. Now, making the cut was a section of us having research over 3 months, looking for a way to get software that suits a very special niche of issues. As I mentioned earlier, there are many places that have online resources that give buyers the ability to buy and sell online and trade. But there's an issue, especially in the African continent. On the African continent, we have a terrible data issue. Even myself, who is on a fiber connection, experience issues at certain times of the day because our data connection is burstable. So it's always a challenge for us to get online. So we had to have something, first of all, that was lightweight, and we had to have the ability out of the box to meter our connections. Now, Magento offers everything we need on the technical resources end when it comes to managing the content, the e-commerce side of the business. It more than covers all our checks all our boxes. But unfortunately, it lacks, in our opinion, user or CRM features that were easily extendable. So Drupal provided this for us. Then the miracle of ScandiPWA came. ScandiPWA at this point gave us the ability to combine the REST API of Drupal and the GraphQL layer of Magento to create a synchronous way of conveying and managing both sales and user interactions on our platform. The features that we had a special list of features that we needed to reach for our vendors here. Because of the limits and the resources that our vendors face, both with, in many cases, some people live in areas that aren't accessible by major delivery services, but they, however, have local delivery providers. We decided to integrate a system where our local providers on their availability without having to have a preset list of restricted delivery parameters. Once items were destined or localized to a special area, users would have the ability to select a delivery provider who's local and do intermediate deliveries, giving vendors of any scale accessibility. Now, how it came together. We had to look at all the challenges that we had from a server-side perspective. Now, one thing that we quickly realized, hosting an application like this is very difficult, and especially architecting the system to manage these resources. So we decided to, again, use the advantage that ScandiPWA gives to us in the service worker layer to communicate with Drupal's RESTful API and push updates to our Magento GraphQL layer, giving us a synchronous data set of user information, but running on two different content management systems. And ScandiPWA is the intermediary and most important part here, because what ScandiPWA allows us to do, as I mentioned earlier, is meter our connection. Because most of our users are limited by their resources, they are either the phones that they use are really outdated, so they don't have access to a lot of storage on their phones. They live in areas where connections are slow. They face a lot of challenges, and the commercial brands of e-commerce platforms don't necessarily cater to these people, even though they make up over 80% of the spending power in the country's economy. So our application is kind of tailored to put all of these people into one economic pool where they can freely trade and manage their products anywhere without any limits. So using ScandiPWA as our front-end layer has given us that type of control. No, we have not gone public yet. We are currently in testing. We have spent the last 8 months, well, it's actually 1 year now since lockdown, developing this application. We plan on going live May 25th of this year with a localized launch in Johannesburg, South Africa, which would give us a decent control about 20 million users average. We've currently already pre-signed about 30 vendors locally already, have already joined our campaign already. After which we look to seek funding because we plan to expand across the continent of Africa, making use of the current free trade agreement that was recently signed for the African continent, giving countries within Africa the ability to trade without high taxes. So we're kind of preparing for, in my opinion, what I call the African Industrial Revolution. Hopefully by November 2021, we'll be able to launch across the continent, expanding these services to every African country on the continent with an internet connection. And by January 2022, we want to take this internationally, giving users all over the world the ability to buy, sell, and trade at any level without any hindrance. So if you'd like to contact or get more information, especially on the technical implications of this project, you can contact me or hit me up on WhatsApp on the information on the screen. Thank you very much for your time.